Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give y'all a little bit of time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. First things first, hopefully everybody had a blessed and productive Monday. And happy Tuesday morning to all the people in Australia. Well, say the same thing to the people in the UK as well. Everybody else in Japan, everybody that rock with your boy. Appreciate everybody that tuned in late last night for the conversation. Know it was a little bit late for some. Others might have came in coming towards the end of it, but definitely was a good talk. Shout outs to my boy Heineken and shout outs to Brian for popping on the panel last night. Missed it, catch the replay. Definitely was a good conversation. Today is just like a little wrap up of a few things. It was needed though. And it was crazy because the story that I got to talk about tonight, this happened Saturday, but apparently it was being reported today. So, and this does have to deal to some degree as far as mental health is concerned. Um, Let me give y'all a little bit of time to tune in. Make sure this storm don't get too crazy. For those who are in the city, y'all already know they might have just got a pop up storm. You might have just got a pop up storm. So if you are out and about, make sure you keeping yourself safe because it ain't gonna look too pleasant out. Black guy, what's going on, my guy? Um, but it was crazy. Apparently, 40-year-old head oncologist killed her baby and then killed herself. Um, and it's basically in my view right now is getting looked at as postpartum depression. And despite it being a different type of depression, it's still a depression. Um, Apparently, this happened while the husband was away on business or whatever, and said Saturday morning she killed her baby and then killed herself. Now, I can honestly say that hit different because again, you just had that baby. The baby is not even 5 months old. From what was calculated, the baby's not even 5 months. So, that's kind of a shocker right there. Yeah, bro, you look it up. This happened near It's happened near White Plains, New York. So, 40-year-old. She was a lead. Well, no, she was a head oncologist, and also I think she was a head professor at one of the medical hospitals. So, it hit different only because some people are gonna feel a certain way about it, and then you're gonna have others that are, they're gonna feel it only because we know people who probably went through it. Um, I can honestly say I knew a couple women who went through it, and I knew the signs, you know. But they always had somebody right there at least to try to, at least keep their head afloat. Because at the end of the day, when you are depressed, at some point you would want to get out of that. I think it hit different because you in your 40s and you just having a baby. So I don't know, but yeah, man, it came up in my news feed this morning. Um, I didn't. I don't. I thought it, I thought I misread it, and then I looked again, and I'm like, Scott, what's going on, my guy? It do hit different though. I'm not gonna lie to you because as that should be the least thing you have to do. But yeah, I don't know. It do hit different. The reason why I say it different, I gotta catch myself because I'm like, that should be the most joy, and that was your only child too. On top of that, that should be the most, at least in my opinion, that should be the most precious and the most valuable thing to defend is your youngin. But some people minds and bodies are built differently. I understand that, but it is a sad notion because that's something you wasn't expecting to hear. I don't think nobody really likes hearing that anyway. It doesn't matter what age. Going to that links. I mean, I don't know. Again, everybody is built differently on a psychological level. There are some people who know for a fact they can't go but so far. Madeline, what's going on, baby? Yeah, Black Albert, take a look at it because it popped up in my Google News. Also, another thing that popped in my news, the other cop that had something to do with George Floyd's death apparently got 5 years. But yeah, postpartum is definitely no joke. It's like those two stories came back to back. But I'm more focused on that situation with the lady because may she rest in peace and may that baby rest in peace. But see, this is the one thing that kind of leaves foul taste in people's mouths to a degree when it does come to that. There's going to be a few things that I'm going to talk about because it's not just postpartum that also messes people up as far as depression wise. Don't forget if you had any type of issue as far as like for those who was playing football, that CTE, that's real. Too many knocks to the head is not good for you. It's almost the same way like boxing, taking too many blows to the head. We see the results. Look what happened with Muhammad Ali. Too many blows to the head. And that's what I'm saying. It's crazy because but and then we see certain instances, prime example. I know it's different, but it's still almost going towards the same crossroad because it's like they taking their lives and their kids' lives. Let's not forget about situation with. We'll go into that though. But yeah, for those I know for a fact, it's hard to deal with for some people because they're not expecting to feel that depression out of nowhere. Yeah. Um. It was a lot, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Between that, look at the wrestler, Chris Benoit. Um, the main reason why he did what he did to his family, even though it was still, in most cases and in most people's eyes, it was horrific. But when you suffer from brain and head injuries and you're not getting the proper medical treatment the way you're supposed to, I believe that could be a factor. That, and let's not forget, a lot of them was, in my opinion, juicing up. So, or allegedly juicing up. But when you got symptoms suffering from CTE or any type of those, that leads to depression, and that leads you to think and make certain decisions you wouldn't normally make. This is why I always try to tell people mental health is real on all cylinders, even when it comes down to women and postpartum. Because think about it, just had a baby, so you trying to get yourself back in order, get back in balance. And if you don't have the right people around, that's at least going to keep you in or keep you in a motivated state. That's usually when it starts. Oh, I know that, bro. PTSD is in many forms as well. I already know that part. You got people who got PTSD because they come from They might have just come home from actually being out on the battlefield or being in the war. Some people catch PTSD from specific traumatic events that's happened in their life. And that's the thing, though. Again, when it comes down to mental health, you got some people that will play games with it. There's nothing funny about that because honestly, like I believe if her husband would have been home, she probably wouldn't have even thought to do that. You know, a lot of times when they get to that level, because I know people personally who was suffering from postpartum, and some of the times I was the one that was being influenced for you to just, nah, don't do it. You wilding out. You know, sometimes they need to hear that voice of reason, even when they feel like there's nothing you can say. They'll eventually soak in something. So when you know you got people, who just, especially when they older and they just have, like, if you older and you're just having your first kids, yeah, it's going to be a little different. But you also got to remember too, you now have a new life in the world. You have to try to keep your life and the baby's life preserved at all costs. And this should be a public service announcement to some of the women who might have just had their first kid or probably about to have their first kid. You know, postpartum is real, and you need to take your time and soak up the knowledge that you need to soak. Because you could find yourself in that situation at some point, whether you happily married or not. You know, that is real. And fellas, y'all gotta be on board too. If you know you see certain symptoms that's not adding up and not you gotta step in as a man and do what you gotta do. King Bear, what's going on, my guy? You know, and I think that's a real important topic to talk about tonight. Because yeah, there's all sorts of forms of PTSD and just depression, period. You know, and again, some of these depressions doesn't matter which one you end up, in the category of. It usually ends up to a point where you'll end up hurting yourself or somebody around you, and that's not a good look. You know, you want to try to preserve life as much as possible. Um, it was sad because again, 40 years old, you just having your first kid. Well, your first kid is not even 5 months old, and it triggered me somewhat. Like today, I really couldn't even go live the way I wanted to. I was also trying to, I was basically checking up on one of our mods and one of our dear ones because, like, again, she had definite family back and forth. So, I always got to make sure my people are straight. Um, but I was kind of triggered behind that story too because I was like, damn, like, and it's sad because that's exactly what it was leading to. And then what's the irony after the story is over and you look at the bottom and it does have to say something about if you know anybody who's having suicidal thoughts. I'm sure some of y'all was in here in one of these lives when I had the number put up for those who might be going through either domestic abuse or if they was going through any type of suicidal thoughts. But even if you feel that's where it's coming to, make sure you get the help that's needed. There's nothing worse than living in silence, knowing that you're suffering. And that's where we gotta start opening our mouths and really speaking because depression hit different. And some people will sit here and just try to say, oh, you tripping, oh, you just gotta man up, you just gotta no. Depending on what that person's line of depression is, you're gonna have to take it serious and you're gonna have to make sure that on all angles you're catching somebody. Because again, there's nothing worse than letting somebody drown when you can help them swim or you can help them float back to the top. It's been too much going on. Honestly, I think that's the baddest part about it all. Um, we've been so distracted with different things, and we see things like this that is going on day in and day out. People are suffering from mental depression one way or another. And it's bad when people don't see the signs or they don't try to intervene because that could possibly save that person or the people around them that could save their life. It's time for some people to really start getting the knowledge on, things of that nature. Because again, even if it don't affect you, it could affect somebody around you. And this is what I'm saying. Yeah, there's many forms of that. And some people do catch PTSD because of their living environments. If you got to come outside in certain areas, prime example, and there's always a dead body somewhere, there's always some sort of shooting, fighting, and looting, that causes stress. And then if everybody seems to be on the same accord, there's no type of peace, balance, and unity. Yeah, it's going to cause that. And see, this is a topic right here. At some point, I'm gonna drop the link because it is an open discussion. But I do feel the best ways a lot of times to try to counteract some of the depression that we see is just being good people. If we see that it's certain people, the body language is saying it, we gotta make sure that we put it in the good works. Like I go back to that story again when I told y'all about that boy on the train was about to start wilding out on people for no reason. And I took them and come to find out he was going through a little bit of everything. He had a real major argument. I think he broke up with his lady, going through some other stuff. And I was telling him, I was like, yo, bro, but the way you're going about it, there's other people on this train. You don't know who's going through what. You don't even know if somebody that you think you was going to attack might be crazier than you. It might not even to be funny. You're not even crazy, bro. You're just going through it. There are people that be on this train that are crazy. They're talking to themselves. They're fighting, so on and so forth, even if it's against other people. So you're not in that category. You're just going through a lot of stress right now. I said, bro, and if you did the wrong thing, you don't know who would have did what to you. This could have been your first and final ride on this train. So you got to be careful on that. Letitia, what's going on, baby? I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. Um, if y'all just tuning in, just speaking on a couple things, this is like a little wrap up. Um, this morning there was a story reported about a lady killed herself and killed her child. Um, and she suffered from postpartum. 40 years old, your baby's not even 5 months old. So that means you didn't really have time to properly heal mentally nor physically, in my opinion. BMF, what's going on, my guy? And it's scary and it's sad because, again, even if it doesn't affect you, it can affect somebody that you know, even if it's close to you. And the reason not to talk about postpartum is because I knew three people personally. One of them is no longer here, but she could tell you the same thing. I watched it. I knew how to counteract anything that she was feeling that was going on the lines of borderline suicidal or whatever. So trust me, that hit different. And see, where some people would try to say, oh, it's probably because she was an older woman, or, it's always like that with older women. No, it's happened with young women too. There are young women who have suffered from postpartum and ended up hurting themselves or their kids. So we're not going to overlook that. Postpartum could affect any woman of any age. And fellas, if you know you're around, especially if it's your child, that's your duty as well too. You have to keep your child protected at all costs. No doubt, BMF. I hear you, bro. And 9 out of 10, if this story would have broke last night, which I know that means they probably found out late last night, because again, the only reason why I felt that happened is because the husband wasn't home, but the husband was actually, on business. And this is the thing: he owns a line of power bars, I believe. So they didn't say what brand or whatever, but he must be a big figure, just like she was a big figure. But still, this is where normally sometimes these type of things happen when there's no real clear supervision or there's no clear, you know, clear-headed person to sit down and reason with them and talk. And again, may she rest in peace, and may that baby rest in peace. Um, they still trying to go through details as we speak now. So, but it's just crazy because it doesn't matter. Like postpartum could affect any woman, whether she's happily married or not. So, fellas, if you know you with your woman, you having kids, whether it is young or old, make sure your lady is good. Peep the signs of postpartum, even if you got to read up on it yourself. Do that because that right there is critical. That is also life saving. Also, for those who might be suffering from CTE, you know, that's another thing. If you see certain characteristics looking out of whack for a person of a specific caliber, you need to figure out what's going on and even try to see if you can help them in more than one way. Even if it's offering advice like, oh, listen, I really feel you should go and do this, this, that, and the third. Or I really feel this would be beneficial for you. That's a start. Sometimes they look for the level-headed people to intervene a lot of times. And again, that's what's needed. Some of us are not born perfect. Some of us are going to go through specific depressions and specific situations in life. And for those who don't go through it, you're going to have people around you that might go through it. So again, you got to be prepared on all cylinders. Um, Letitia, I think James did that the other day. I know he gifted a couple people memberships. Oh, shout outs to all the eulogy members, baby. I already know y'all got specific perks and whatever. Like I said, there's only really 2 members of Level Ship right now. I'm not focusing really too crazy on that like some people would, but I'm more focused just on these conversations I had. I think James gifted you, Uncle L, and somebody else that day. Oh yeah, shout outs to Uncle James, man. Prayers that he got home today. For some who might not have been here last night, Uncle James had to go to the hospital. I believe it was something with his gallbladder. So prayers that he got home or that they let him go home today. But I think he gifted you, Letitia, so you good. Court, what's going on, baby? Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight again, and I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit. I do want to get some perspectives because again, I know this is like a touching topic right here too. Some people think that you can overlook specific depressions, but honestly, you can't. And even if you think people are having suicidal thoughts along those lines, if you can intervene and be the voice of reason, you have to do so. Again, I still feel and believe that if her husband would have been home, I don't think she would have did that. I don't think she would have went through with it. Or he probably would have did the best thing and got her some help. Because again, postpartum affects everybody of every age, especially when you're dealing with kids. I just feel bad because again, the baby was only 5 months. And I feel like this at that juncture, they still innocent to the world. I'm telling you, it does hit different. Because again, I've seen some people and knew people personally who went through it, and at times I had to be the voice of reason because they almost went towards that level. I'm always going to have something to bring to the table and speak about because there's certain things that I've been through that I necessarily didn't have to go through, but I had, it taught me something. And these things really taught me life lessons. And seeing postpartum or any other depression along those lines, The first thing I feel, in my opinion, they'll try to do is just medicate you. But you still need a strong evaluation because, for all you know, you just probably need somebody to vent to. Nexie, what's going on, baby? Again, this is why I couldn't really go live earlier because I'm still trying to like process that, man. Like, and I feel for the dude because at the end of the day, that's something you don't want to hear, especially you on business and you come back. That could be like that for anybody. You don't want to hear that, your significant other and your children have been, a victim of that. Because that does rip people apart. Serious, what's going on, baby? And again, prayers to the family and prayers to those who need it because, it's not just that. You have people that suffer. Some people are really suffering in silence, and some people don't see it until it's too late. This is why I said it's always good to try to uplift and try to bring the best out of somebody, even when they're going through. And in certain situations, no matter how hard you try, sometimes it's probably just written that it's going to happen that way. I mean, we never know what's what because some people's minds are built different. And again, it should hit different for some people because, you know, it's not just the fact that kids are getting harmed in the midst of the depression, but it's just the fact that it's loss of life, period. And these is beneficial pieces that could have been beneficial. We never know. I'm saying it from a standpoint from who knows, that baby could have grew up to be something just as positive or just as well as their parents. We'll never know that. Again, there's situations that affect people that we'll never know what could have been. I granted we are in a perfect world, and we are seeing more things that are definitely driving people, driving them to the driving them to drink. It's driving them to drive over a bridge. Again, some of you fellas are gonna have to peep the signals, peep the signs, and if you know there's a clear and present danger, you have to interact, and you definitely have to intervene. It's the same way with some of you ladies. If y'all claim to be friends and you see your friends is going through something, uplift them, see what's going on, talk to them. That could possibly save a situation from getting worse. See, when I speak on topics, I speak on a little bit of everything that affects both, not just the women, but it affects the men too. Like I was just saying earlier, you got some people who suffer from CTE from specific, sports injuries. Some of them people never get right. Who else I could say is a prime example? Even though he hasn't done nothing too outrageous or something that would have been devastatingly shocking, but it still goes to show there's a clear sign that once you get hit hard enough, sometimes you might not get right, at least not right away. And if you're not getting and seeking the proper attention, you're going to suffer from that. Prime example, in my opinion, was Antonio Brown when he was on Pittsburgh. For those who watch football, y'all remember when his son got hit? We all thought he was dead because he was just laying there for a hot minute. And those injuries is real when it's a head-on collision. You would catch CTE even in the instance of if you driving a car and you happen to crash, God forbid. It's still a head injury. Still a brain injury. So that's affected right there. You've got people that either played sports or just had too many head traumas. And this is where it goes to. Because think about it. If you're getting constantly slapped or hitting your head, especially with a hard object, at some point, yeah, your brain gonna start getting affected because now it is starting to get swollen. Your skull is only but so thick, and once it starts going to a specific reach, now we got a problem. That's why I said you definitely got to make sure that the people around you are good because you never know what they're going through. Mary, what's going on, baby? Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Drop this link because again, I was going to go live earlier, and I don't know, I had to process that to a degree because I was like, wow, like, so this really happened, you know. But again, I can't, I can't really think straight only because again, that type of situation again affects all people. Now, I think it's time for the people to really start coming together and really bringing back awareness the way it's need to be, and we can start getting back to a better place. Marlene, what's going on, baby? Those who might just be tuning in, I'm gonna say this again. Um, I'm talking about a specific topic, or there's a couple of topics, because I feel those type of depressions right there do lead to situations of people hurting themselves and hurting others, including family. For those who might have just been tuning in, um, this morning there was a story that was reported. Apparently, Saturday morning, 40-year-old head on oncologist, um, she killed her baby and killed herself. And this happened while her husband was on a business trip. I'm assuming that all that news got caught between last night or sometime yesterday because it was just reported today. So, in that instance right there, she was just 40 years old. The baby was only maybe 5 months old. They're still doing investigations or whatever because it's still more to, try to see what's going on and uncover. But, again, it's terrible. It's again, postpartum will mess up anybody. Again, it will mess up anybody that's of any age giving birth. So again, you never know what's what. And for those who are good with people, you got to be able to peep the signs. Tanya, what's going on, baby? E-Reptile, what's going on, baby? Yeah, Mary. It threw me off this morning because again, shout outs to Angel. I was talking with her on the back end about something today. I'm just checking on her too because I told y'all she had death in the family back and back. So, just talking with her, checking up on her, and as I'm talking to her, that's when the Google News. I get Google News and certain things. I don't know why they still coming to my phone, but sometimes they do come in handy because you'll see certain things that we speak about on a daily. Like that's a form of depression right there. You 40 years old, probably, and this is your first kid, so you know it's it hit different. No doubt, BMF. And that's crazy because you're not expecting to see nothing like that, but then you sit around and you like, oh, so this really happened. But again, some of y'all gotta learn to uplift people, especially those around you who might have just had kids, because you know I do know that depression hits on all angles, and sometimes it'll attack you more mentally than anything. Mental depression will lead to physical depression, and then it'll just lead to straight up suicide or murder or both. And that's a form of depression for women that I know for a fact, you know, y'all need the most uplifting because, it's sad, especially if you know you going in a good stance. Like, you could be happily married with the person that you want to be with, but it could be a situation where it can end up happening. It's almost the same way, like I said, just like with CTE, that's forming depression as well too. Because think about it, you took enough blows to the head, you're not thinking straight. At some point, you'll get depressed. If you mixing and inducing the wrong things in your body that could cause you to go well above and beyond just suicidal thoughts. Again, let's look at some of these people who either have committed suicide or done both murder and suicide, whether it's towards family, friends, whoever. These type of depressions you have to always be aware of and always keep knowledge on. There's always new knowledge coming because there's different types of these injuries that are happening or these different type of depressions that are coming from different angles. So again, you're always going to be able to have a talk about mental health one way or another. That's why I say I speak on general topics because general topics affect everybody in every community. I don't care what you're talking about. If you think it don't, prove it to me, and I'll shut up. But depression definitely messes with everybody. Oh wow, Mary. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, listen, just imagine. But I'm thinking about this too. That affects everybody. It affects y'all physically and on all cylinders, but it also affects the people around you as well. These type of depressions, when that does happen and there's harm coming to family, that affects everybody. It really does. It affects every damn body. I can imagine that man's pain right now. You coming home thinking you gonna come back to a perfect, well, not so much perfect, you know what I mean, but you think you coming back home to a good balance, and then you got to get that type of news. That's depressing on all ends. And I know that's killing him worse because that probably was his first child. They didn't go deep into his story really. They just said he was I think he owned a line of power bars or whatever. So either which way, it's just as crazy. And see, I'm speaking to the women only because I feel like, again, regardless of what, you are important. Yeah, sometimes y'all might do a little too much, but we still love you, baby. And we need you to keep being here, not just for yourself, not just for your kids, but just for the future growth. You are needed, just like we are needed, just like the men. Y'all gotta get more involved one way or another too. Brothers, it don't matter if you with the lady or not. If you see certain things that are affecting somebody, intervene if you have to. But fellas, if you know you with the lady, you gonna have to definitely pay attention to the signs. You know, specific things will trigger that. You know, any type of depression will start triggering. It'll trigger you the wrong way. And if you got the wrong people that's feeding the wrong seeds too, sometimes that could be a attributing factor. Um, it just be a change on everything. Miss Rachel, what's going on, baby? For people who suffer from any form of PTSD, doesn't matter. You know, If you're not getting the proper help and the proper care, that's going to go left too. Again, depression hit on all different angles and all cylinders, whether it's dealing with the men or dealing with the women. But again, it was a sad story this morning because I wasn't expecting to see something like that. You know, but again, these are stories and these are situations that are happening time and time and again, whether it's being reported on the news or not. And I honestly feel again, this is where as the community, everybody's supposed to be not just involved, but just gaining the knowledge that's needed. Because again, you're saving a life one way or another. In those instances right there, time is of the essence. And this is why I've always felt it's good to have a strong family dynamic. Because let's be real. Um, if we really want to go back in time and look at certain things, when there was a strong family structure, you didn't get too much of that. Again, we just knew how to create that balance. You had a strong man, a strong woman that was holding down their front. You had a strong community that was holding down the whole front of the community. So it wasn't too much of that going on. If it did slip through the cracks, it's like we didn't notice it. But then every time we do get certain situations like that occur, we learn something from it. And then we know how to adjust from there. And I think that's the worst form when your depression gets to that point of hurting yourself or hurting kids or you hurting your family or even hurting your loved ones. This is why I'm saying, we have to start gaining more knowledge on these things. For the betterment of the people who definitely good to be here, in my opinion, and they want to be here. They deserve that chance too. Oh wow, Mary. Seeing this is another thing too. Again, that even right there starts and stirs up a lot of pots because again, you never know who's going through what, and at some point, you got to be logical, and you also got to make sure you don't do something that throws off their balance. I hear you on that, Mary. And see, that's another way again. Some people suffer from depression or catch PTSD because if they've been traumatized for their weight, their looks, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's a problem. That's still a form of bullying. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's still a form of bullying because you're trying to make fun or make light of somebody that's different from you. That's not the way it should go. And again, it does start from home. It does start from critical thinking and teachings. Family structure has to be just what it is, a family structure. Y'all got to both build together. This is why I was saying one day, if you're going to sit here and you're going to bring all these babies in the world, at least bring the babies in the world with somebody that you're going to have a strong, united front with. And also make sure the people in your community is you know, mindful and respected and even trusted people to make sure they can hold down the flock. Look, in case you see my kid doing something, you let me know. Stuff like that, man. Exactly. Yeah, you absolutely right on that, Mary. That's why I'm saying like depression hit deep on all angles. See, I've stuck to my word and I'm still sticking to my word. When I told y'all we wasn't gonna be talking about mental health just for that 1 month. Even if it's not on the everyday span, because we see most of the things we've been going through or seeing, it's not dealing with mental health. Some people are just really full on, full blown, stuck on stupid. Definitely appreciate you, Sirius, for dropping links. Y'all already know y'all could have been did so, you know. And again, congratulations to those who just got monetized, partially monetized on the way too. And definitely make sure y'all dropping y'all links. Y'all trying to grow and build. This is the platform for it. I'm serious when I say certain things. Other things, I'm not serious because y'all be encouraging my madness, but I still love y'all for that. Again, you never know who's going through what. And when you pick and pick and pick, at some point, they unleash you. And then that you never know. Sometimes that could go for and take a turn for the worse. So again, in that instance right there's certain things that should be taught to these kids, even if you want to put them in the school system. There's a few other things. Like I said, there's always going to be something that ties in together. Again, I just always felt it's good to have a strong family structure together because, prime example, when you with the right person, you good. Even prime example, I believe, again, if that husband would have been home and not on the trip, that could have been avoided. Like I said, once you got a strong family structure, doesn't matter who you are. Y'all got each other. Y'all holding each other down. Because guess what? The same way the women go through a depression, so do the men. Men go through just as much. And it's the same part is we got to go in the world and do just as much. If not, we got to go above and beyond sometimes. But in that same token, um, we both are supposed to come together as a whole piece. And despite what songs might be out that they try to say, oh, you don't necessarily, that's BS. Because you still need a strong family balance one way or another. If you got a separated home and you not really on point with what's going on, even a situation like that could slip through the cracks. So again, see, when it comes to that, postpartum could affect any woman of any age. And that could damage and mess up good family or could mess up the family around her. Again, those type of deaths hit differently because some people really don't be seeing the signs or they're not aware of the signs. And for those who are, they don't care until it really hit rock bottom. So this is why I say we got to stop being just so selfish because we have people who are going through the utmost. Everybody has had some form of depression because of some form of bullying. See, I can tell you I probably went through two different stages of whatever, but in the same token, made me into the animal that I was today. It just lets you know, at some point, when you're not teaching and you're not taking accountability, then all bets is off. And I've had a couple situations where, oh, okay, so you still going to allow your child to, okay, just know. And that was all I needed. Other than that, I wasn't allowing certain things to happen. And I still don't allow it to happen. But again, you just got to remind yourself too. And again, I'm going to say this to all you young women, to any woman out there who are having their first child. Please, if you hear this, just hear the sincerity in my voice. I can understand or empathize to a degree with y'all about different changes going on with you. But you also have to remember too, if you're in a happy position before the baby, during the baby, and after the baby, you have to keep that balance. And even if you have to talk to your significant other and fully let them know what's going on, if they're not aware of certain things, you have to do so. Then again, some of you fellas, again, you're gonna have to be aware of your lady, your queen. If she's going through something, you're gonna have to make sure your queen is back to that happy state. It's the same way she would do it for you. Word, what's going on, my guy? And again, this is where I say at times you gotta come to conclusions, man. And the conclusion is a strong family structure will always succeed because you're both in tune with each other. You know how to deal with each other when it comes to those stages, and you know how to just basically work things out and get it back to normal. And I sound this somber again because, again, I'm thinking about a little bit of everything. I'm thinking about that situation with this lady, and then I'm also still thinking about the Chris Benoit and somebody else situation. Like it's sad when it really gets to that level of depression. There's no deeper pain than that type of situation happening and messing up the family structure one way or another. Again, prayers to everybody that really need it, who might have been through it or have people that went through it. These type of deaths definitely hit different on all angles. And you can't tell me that you don't feel it. I feel for that man only because that's your first child, and your child is not even going to be here to celebrate the first birthday nor none of that. He got to deal with all of that. And you got to hope that he don't even go off the deep end, because some brothers actually go off the deep end as well too, especially if that type of trauma happens. So, there's things that in life we just not going to be able to poke fun at. We're not going to be able to joke, laugh, not even try to troll the situation. Because again, you don't know who's been through what. And it just might be that trigger that you won't get exactly what's coming to you. I've always felt it's just good to build up the people that need it, especially those who might be at a time weak. Because we all get weak at some point. I don't care how you feel about it. We all do get weak. We all do go through our trials and tribulations. We go through our ups and downs, and sometimes we get our bittersweets. We might get some bad, but we also might get some good in the same token. Again, some people are just not going to be mentally strong to deal with specific situations. But in that same situation, sometimes if they have a clear and present ear that could really reason with them, it could possibly save them. And in some cases, I'm not going to lie, you might have to actually get medicated if it's that deep. Because again, you don't want these triggers to actually take you over the deep end. When some people are going through things, you really can't just throw them to the side. And see, I've never been one of those people to do that. But in that same instance, too, I got to be the clear level headed one. You know, and again, those type of, you know, those type of deaths, they affect in the worst ways. And it might even cause a chain reaction to a degree. And that's crazy, Mary. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know who's going through what. And see, you never know what trigger. And, sometimes that don't always just be the main trigger for them to just do it. There's always something that could possibly, if there's no intermediate beneficial person that really come together and really like get it together for you, it basically just, all right, I see what this is, and that's when they'll go right to it. And this is why I say sometimes, you got to be mindful on who you vetting out when you are building with somebody. because you never know. Somebody could be toxic for you, and that will cause all the wrong triggers. Or sometimes they don't gotta always be toxic either. Some people will really just be going through it, and if they feel the people around them are not picking up on the signs, then that's a clear way for them to just continuously do or go to doing something of a horrible nature. So again, everybody's going to have to pick up on the signs, even the people in the community sometimes. See, and now I can speak on the fellas too, because this is what I was saying to some degree. Same way women get weak, so do the fellas. And again, you never know who's going through what. I'm gonna say to all the good men out there who are trying to vet their future wifey, future mother of the kids, and everything else along those lines, you have to understand this. You cannot put yourself in a position where it don't look good. You can't put yourself in a poisonous position with a poisonous person, because at some point that poisonous person might sting one way or another. And if they sting you a way to where it will lead you into depression and even come to that caliber of thing, then that's a problem. And honestly, some of you have to learn to listen when more than one person is telling you something for your own good. That right there, a lot of times, will save your life too. Yeah, you know what it is? They do say that. I'm not gonna lie, but I figure postpartum just affects anybody. And it do. I've seen some young women and I've heard some stories with young women who suffered from it and they at some point did some harm. But again, it's just, if it's your first, that's supposed to be your crown jewel. Whether it's a boy or a girl, that is supposed to be your crown jewel. So you definitely supposed to uphold them and try to care, even if you're going through it. You got to figure out a way to keep yourself in. I don't know. It hit different for me because I can't attack it on a whole bunch of different angles. Me just inclined the way I am, I've always felt that way. That's the worst type of depression. When you're already synced and locked and loaded to do some harm like that on all angles, yeah, that's different. And this is what I'm saying. It's just, fellas, you gotta make sure you're not in a poisonous position. Same thing with the ladies. This is why I say, you have to vet out the person that you know for a fact is gonna be there for you on all angles. Because depression hits. Same way we gotta build y'all up, y'all gotta deal with us. Because we break down too at times. It don't show, but we break down as well. Most of us are suffering in silence, just like some of you are suffering in silence. And it does hit different again when it leads to that type of caliber. I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy because some of these things we don't think will cause that type of effect, they do. Like I was saying, like the different forms of CTE, right? For the fellas. Or even the ladies, because I'm quite sure some ladies have suffered from those injuries too. You gotta think about it. If you getting constant blows to the head, or if it's a head-on collision and it's a real impactful one, yeah, You know, too many headshots, too many injuries to the head, and it causes CTE, and you not even aware. Because there's some people that not even aware they got it too, especially if they ain't getting the proper medical care or they don't have the primary medical care they should have. So you'll start seeing the differences if somebody is moving a little different. Like I said, we got instances like Antonio Brown. He suffered from CTE because when he took that hit in that Pittsburgh game, like I said, that was a moment that we was all waiting. We didn't know what was going on. Any type of concussion that could lead to that sort of injury too, that's a 50-50. And that, it'll cause different depressions or just cause different outbursts. So again, you gotta just study up on the information that's at hand. Because again, you want to try to alleviate all these problems. It should never come to a point, in my opinion, it should never come to a point of you taking your life or taking your life and the life of others around you. You're basically robbing everything from being beneficial, and you never know. Serious, definitely appreciate you for dropping those links tonight. You already know, baby. Oh wow, Mary. Um, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I know it kind of hit different, you know. And again, a lot of these different things that we go through, even as men and women, it do lead to depression. You know, prime example with some men, they go through depression. Like if they was used to or accustomed to working a specific career, and now that career might be over one way or another, that leads to depression because we feel like we can't provide as much as we're supposed to, or we as we was doing before. But this is also where life preservation is supposed to come into handy too. Never get too comfortable doing specific things, and even if you do, you got to make sure you are saving up for the best. You got to make sure you definitely doing what's needed. At least know how to prepare for right now until you get back where you need to get back to. Willis, what's going on, my guy? And you know what, Letitia? I'm not gonna lie to you because I'm not too, like I said, I'm not too savvy on that side when it comes to, like I said, I just could talk about this part because I've seen it firsthand on. And a lot of times I had to be the voice of reason to make sure that person didn't go off the deep end. And I'm glad I did. And these people are still here, minus the one person. Shoot. That's why I said to a degree, it's just certain things you really can't poke fun at, you can't take light at neither. And a lot of times you just have to have that balance. That's why I said, that story hit different, just like a lot of different stories hit different. Anytime it involves murder, suicide, and it's amongst the family, it that rocks. That's a bombshell for everybody. And you know what, Letitia, since you brought that up, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought they did have specific people along those lines. It, I would say at least if you was going like if you was going along the lines of getting therapy, I thought they would really have people like that with because I could understand to a degree. For y'all it's different, especially like you just brought life into the world. But you right on that, you know. But see, sometimes even when you didn't have that, you had people in the community that just knew what it was and they was able to counteract that. But now it seems like everybody again is for self. So some people could be suffering, and even if they crying out for help, some people will laugh at it or dismiss it. So this is where the problem will always come into play until we all get together and really like gain the knowledge on what we need to gain the knowledge on. Christy, what's going on, baby? Oh shoot. Sandwich party. Oh snap. Hammer, what's going on, baby? Seeing that's what we was supposed to be. Well, that's what we was at one point. Or at one time, we was all a tribe. The community was a damn tribe. We seen a lot of things. We was able to counteract it and try to at least stop certain things from happening. But again, it don't feel like no tribes no more. It feel like everybody is separated and divided into their own. And the small tribes you do have, they can only do but so much. I don't know. I don't know. It just hit different, y'all. My bad. It do. And I can say this from my perspective. It do hit different. Because those are not the type of things you really want to hear. But man, again, may she rest in peace and may that baby rest in peace. It hit different. Even when you hear stories about the fellas killing their own, that hits different. That always hit different with me. But again, sometimes you just don't know who's going through what. And this is why I say you have to be more in control of your mental stability and your peace. You can't allow people to bring you to a point of depression, and you also can't allow them to bring you to a point where you end up harming them, yourself, and everybody else around. Mookie, what's going on, my guy? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. If y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that's what I'm saying. Gotta build back up that family structure. Like I said, even back to the elders. But you know what, Letitia, you are right to, and that's what I'm saying. Like it felt like back in the day we was a tribe because think about it, you had Big Mama and everybody else, so there was always a strong balance. Even with the fellas, the uncles, the cousins, it was always a strong balance. But it don't feel like that right now because everybody again is focused on the wrong things. This is why we feel like society is crumbling now. And some people are going through depressions because they looking at what's going on in the world and they feel like it's nothing that could be changed. I believe that part too. Some people go to depressions because of relationships. Trust me, I know that part too, Mary, because I had a couple situations out here, suicides, because people, you know, going through bad relationships or they just broke up with somebody and that really triggered them. Shoot, it was two situations that happened down the way for me. One jumped out the window and one actually jumped off the roof. This all happened both down the way. This is literally like maybe like 10 blocks from me. So yeah, that hit different, especially when it's in the neighborhood. I would tell all my ladies and all my fellas to really take into consideration reading up and getting knowledge on what you need to get it on, especially when it comes to depression and all. Because it hit different when you get those type of depths. You have to definitely get in control of that and see it through because you are here, you are beneficial whether you believe it or not. I think that story sounds familiar, Letitia. You gotta refresh my memory. Come on now, you know what I be doing. I be on point. Sometimes I might forget certain things too. That's what I'm saying. You got to make sure you're in the best type of situations, and if you already feel it's dangerous or poisonous, you got to get away from it. As again, you never know how far somebody might actually go. Oh yeah, 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 Letitia, I remember that one. Yeah, that one hit different too. I definitely remember that one. That was the one that drowned them in the bathtub. Yeah, man, this is what I'm saying. Things hit different, and in life, man, you want to try to do as much as you can and just stay blessed as possible. And we know it's hard because we deal with different serious situations in the world. Meth, what's going on, baby? Yeah, definitely, y'all. For those who just tuned in, give healing prayers to Red Shirt James. He was in the hospital yesterday, but he still managed to catch last night's live. Hopefully, he was able to get home today. Um, again, and even when it comes to that sometimes will lead to a specific depression. If you feel you're not as healthy as possible, or you feel like you feel like your body is not there, that could lead to depression. Some people have literally felt like, well, shoot, I'm going to die anyway, so I might as well just continue the process. And again, that's a form of depression right there. You gotta be able to see these things and try to face it head on before it gets well out of control. Yeah, realist. James was in the hospital last night. Um, keep yourself as healthy as possible, not just on the physical aspect, but on the mental aspect. Again, what affects your mental will affect you physically, and then it will definitely take you off the deep ends. And this is the type of these are the type of uplifting conversations that are needed. This is why I bring what I bring here. And I try to keep a peace and balance here, but I also try to give y'all some laughs and fun along the way. At least this way, when you leave, you already know what it is. I don't gotta jump out of a window to prove anything. I don't gotta do anything. I don't necessarily have to. I'm just gonna bring these conversations when it's needed. I'm gonna definitely make sure that people are good. At some point, they do lead to beneficial buildings, and that's what's needed more now than anything. There's going to be situations in life where you feel is going to be the toughest situations, but you're gonna have to face that. Some people have gone into depression because they can't pay bills or they can't do specific things. And even that will drive them to a specific nature. Some people have gone into deep depressions where they start drinking. They ain't drinking, they doing other things that they wouldn't normally be doing. And this is what I'm saying. And even prayers to those who need it, who are not mentally strong right now, who could be mentally weak or could be physically weak. Like, I'm serious when I say that. I feel that the only way life shouldn't be taken is if it's that man upstairs calling. In certain situations, it do be, but there's other ones that we know for a fact could be avoided. And again, that's still a loss of life. And that sucker hit different. And y'all already know. And again, shout outs to James too, man, because he gifted Letitia and Uncle Well those 2 memberships. Appreciate everybody that's being a part of the eulogy family. Yeah, some pettiness in here, but it's not too petty. Wait, let me lighten the mood real quick, y'all. Let me lighten the mood up real quick. We got you, babies. Real as you gonna keep talking, he gonna lick your eyeballs, son. I'm telling you, son. My dog is a thug, son. My dog is a thug, son. When you in the house, son. I'm telling you, he gonna lick your eyeballs, son. Like, oh, so you think you tough? Come here, man. Like, come pet me for a minute. Come show me some love. Nah, it's all good though. I know, Letitia. I know. Um, and just trying to lighten the mood because again, these conversations they do it different, and sometimes, yeah, you got to take an intermission. Oh man, but yeah, this is something that's serious though. Um, and again, the link is pinned in case anybody want to chime in on the topic, or if y'all got something y'all want to bring to the forefront tonight. It is, in my opinion, like a weekly wrap up. So appreciate you, Letitia. You're a cutie when you want to be, but you got to pay attention to him when you outside. Thinking he's slick trying to eat food off the floor. I don't play that. Not outside anyway. But again, this is the reason why I say that you can't just have 1 month when it comes to mental health. Mental health is always going to be around all year round. Even if it's not every month that you hearing certain stories like that, you're going to hear stories like that. And there's going to be things that are not reported because, you're still finding out information. One thing people can't do a lot of times is put out information if it's not truthful or if it's not accurate information. That's more like speculation in their opinion. So, in those instances, you might not know what's what until you finally, get through everything, medical reports, so on and so forth. So, yeah. They say keep him, bro. Baby powder. It ain't gonna matter. He gonna lick that baby powder right off you anyway, son. So it don't matter. My dog is gangster, son. I told you, son. My dog retarded, but he gangster, son. No, again, but you are blessed to be here one way or another. You might not see it right away, but there's certain things that are the biggest blessings. And for those, you gotta understand, you bringing kids into the world, that's the biggest blessing. That should be the most crowding situation for your family because you're bringing something together. And again, that's why I say you gotta have a strong balance. You know, people that you are choosing to be in your life, they gotta make sure, same way more than other, that y'all both got each other's back. I did something stupid. My bad, y'all. I'm back, baby. But yeah, again, this is a worldwide announcement. We got to start building each other up one way or another, even when we see one of ours is going through something. We have to be the voice of reason, and we definitely have to try to keep them upheld. You know, we all are beneficial in more than one ways. But I've always felt when situations get that dire and you have a situation where kids are actually getting harmed or even killed, that's something that's something that should never be thought about. But again, I feel like when people need the help, they should honestly have it. I think we just got to come back to that. Yeah. Again, this hit different. Again, just think about your mental peace, your stability, and just try to keep yourself. Try to keep yourself in the guiding spirits, basically. I mean, more than one ways, you got to realize that not everything in life is going to be perfect. You're going to go through specific situations. There's going to be situations that will make you feel like you're ready to go off the deep end. And a lot of times that could just be test to see where your faith is at. Because again, some people have gone through the gutter, through the worst of the worst, and managed to come out. And come out twice as blessed because they was humble, they was still keeping themselves, spiritual, and they just went through it. That strength, that strong mindedness, and that's just pure blessing right there. Because where some people will do the most horrible, you have those who won't. You need to get to help in those so they could get in that character. It ain't easy, but At some point, we just uplift each other one way and more than one way, and we'll be all right. As much as you might not want to, sometimes you just gotta take a step back. Definitely pray and meditate. And in that same token, you know, give the things that you are not in control of to the higher power, and the things that you can be in control of, just put your best foot forward and try to make it work. Look at you coming out the shadows, you shadow baby. Dee what's going on, baby? Hope all well with all of y'all, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. I had to set this back actually an hour because we had got a crazy ass thunderstorm out of nowhere, and yeah, it just calmed down now. Wait, yeah, I'm looking out my window. It stopped. We had like about at least a good hour of that, so I don't play around with that man upstairs. Once I see lightning hitting near my spot, yeah, let me hold this down until 9 o'clock. But this was a topic I was going to speak about earlier, but I really couldn't grasp my mind to do it. That's why I said, okay, let me just relax. And also, y'all give healing prayers and condolences to Angel. She lost a brother and her uncle. So, you know, prayers to everybody that either had death in the family or death around them recently, especially if it was close ones. That's why I always stress that. Once every time I do, I say it. Some people was unfortunate to wake up today. Some might not make it to tomorrow. So while you here and while you blessed to do so, just try to live the best, try to motivate the best, and keep your faith and everything else intact and keep it strong because you can do so. And again, when you even that will drive people to depression, but you always got to make sure your people's is good. Like, and that was another reason why I didn't really do the live today because I was trying to make sure that she was in a better mind state. Because again, I know how it feels personally to lose family members back to back to back to back to back. So, yeah, that's why I said I can't go out the realms of just being myself. This is who I am. Some people might not like it, but I honestly don't care because I don't care about what people think about me off here. The main ones that know me, they know what it is, and they can't never tell you anything different. I'm going to always be me, and I'm always going to have a logical conversation when it's needed. I'm also going to be just real with my stuff. Prayers to everybody again that definitely needed on all angles right now. Y'all my peoples, and I want to definitely make sure that y'all good. For 2023, the rest of 2023 and beyond. This is why I love what I'm doing and love what I'm building. And again, I'm passionate about that. So I could care less about how anybody feels or how they think they're going to try to attack a situation. Just know they're always going to lose this battle when it comes to me. This is why I'm bringing something that's needed. You just deplete it. So but I want all my peoples to definitely be succeeding and growing. And again, prayers to those who definitely need it. I think I'm gonna do a part two to this when it comes to these type of topics. I'm gonna do a part two. Probably could be something on a Monday. You never know. And for those who just might have been coming in, again, postpartum definitely affects women differently. I know it definitely hit differently for y'all. But again, I would tell y'all, especially those who might be first time, make sure you have a strong structure. That strong structure will keep you balanced. And if you feel you need the help, don't hesitate to get it. Even if you feel you don't have help, I would still advise you to find somebody that will actually take the time and listen. And that's if you're dealing with depression on all angles, not just postpartum. That goes for all the women and all the fellas. Get the help that's needed, one way or another. Whether you have to seek professional help or just have the right people around you, make sure that you don't go in silence. That depression definitely hits different. Life preservation. That should always be the goal in life. Your life is valuable and precious, and you have things to do while you're here. So while you are here, continuously try to keep yourself strong and built up. If you think it makes you less than a human being to get you the help that's needed, it's not the case. But I would hope that y'all understand and hear this tonight. Really not going to delve too deep into that. Um, and the link is pinned in case anybody want to chime in on the situation, because it's always good to just hear different perspectives on this. Um, you're not lying enough. But for those who are able to get out of it, they always have a triumphant story to tell you. It's never easy. Sometimes it'll definitely make you cry, especially if situation was that critical. But again, they are life lessons and they are giving inspirations to those who need it. Just like when I do these talks, I feel these talks are definitely helping people in more than one way. So I'm happy to be here and do that. I'm always going to be able to bring some sort of talk to the conversation and we all could build off one way or another. And I've always felt, you know, you could lift somebody out of depression in certain ways, especially if they got the strong core system. My bad, I had to take another moment of silence, especially for those who definitely needed it. Um, Once you fall into a specific depression, if you don't have that strong, strong mentality to move away from it, or if you don't have the strong-willed and strong-minded people to help you out of it, you might not be able to ever get out of it. Or by the time you get out of it, it might already been too late. And seeing these depressions a lot of times will lead to a specific type of drug uses that'll definitely hurt you in more than one ways as well too. This is why I'm saying things like this on the mental health aspect. Um, some of it do go to drugs and it's triggered. You know, you have to just be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Number one, and you just got to make sure that no matter what life throws you, you try to hold as strong as possible. Hold the fort there. And again, you have to realize that there's just some things that's just going to be out your power. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. But for the things that you can, just do it. See, I believe in people. I believe that most people that go through something, even along those lines of depressions, can beat it. And in some instances, they gotta want to beat it. You know, you have to remember that. I think this was just a good conversation for the night as well too, because from details that was already given, it's set enough right there. You know, exactly enough. And that's what I'm saying. It's needed even on here. People go through things, and some of these people are coming on here because they honestly are trying to get out of that depression. But if you're gonna keep picking and doing specific things, you're gonna trigger them. And don't be surprised if some of these people just lose it for real because you don't know if they got a strong system or not. So, I've been through them dark places on a couple occasions. But then again, I also had to remember too, I had people that definitely loved and cared for me, and when they seen the signs, even when I didn't want to talk, they forced it out of me at some point. But you want to try to make sure that if you really love and care for these people, like you say, when you see them going through something, even if it's not off the rip, just make sure they good. Even if it's as simple like, yo, you good? Take 5 minutes out your day. Don't take but 5 minutes a lot of times just to make sure your people's is good. I try to keep up with mostly everybody that I can, one way or another, especially those who are dear to me. So and it's the same way. It doesn't have to be every day, but at least every other day as well too. Just make sure your people's is good, even if it is just the 5 minutes. That 5 minutes could definitely save a lot. Riders, what's going on, baby? And again, I feel that you need the best caliber of help, and if you got the right people around you, trust me, you'll be able to beat this one way or another. Just got to keep away and just stray away from the negative thoughts that's in your mind. It might not be easy, but again, if you got the strong people with you, you can achieve anything. And again, sometimes even when you feel like your courage or your strength is gone, you got to build it back up. You're gonna have to, especially if you feel you still want to be here. If you're still fighting, You gotta be strong. Again, uplifting people that need the uplifting, that's the best possible way to do it. That's why I love these talks. Because I speak on general topics that I know affects everybody. Depression affects everybody of every ethnicity, every race, doesn't matter. Death affects everybody. Strong topics like that, you can't ignore that. So I'm always going to be able to just have something to bring to y'all. Whether y'all hit the panel every night or whether you don't matter. You know I'm always going to have something to bring because it's needed. You know, and that's the best form, in my opinion. A lot of times you just got to sit back and pray when it's at your dire moments. You just got to pray. And you really have to meditate and release and let go. You know, you have some situations where people are suffering from PTSD because of, violence, any type of violence. So, we got to think about that as well, too. There are multiple different factors that lead to depression. But the best way to try to combat that, at least in my opinion, is again just having a strong system that's going to build you back up and uplift you. And you got to also do your part as well. Joint efforts. It's really what's needed. Joint efforts to start helping, uplifting, and building the people back up to this core. And we could do so. I think it's a matter of time before everybody really starts waking up and realizing that there's just certain things that don't really divide us, but by a little bit. Oh wait, let's not forget injuries affect everybody, and also specific injuries. Prime example: you have some people who went through depression just because they was playing sports. They used to being out there doing what they was doing. Now they can't do it no more. That'll lead to depression. There's so many different factors that will lead people into depression, one way or another. It doesn't negate the fact that again, we need to just start being better people and uplifting people when we see that they going through something. You know, you can't allow certain negativities again to plague your mindset to that degree. You still have strength and courage. You know, sometimes you might lose it because of specific situations. Again, you dealing with death. Some people might get into that depression. They start drinking or they start doing other things along that nature, or some people just stop keeping themselves preserved. They just start looking wild crazy. Some people might not eat. You again, never know what somebody is going through. So you want to try to be at least as cautious as possible. But again, keep the right people around you as well too, because they're definitely going to lift you. They're going to try to lift you to the best of their abilities. And you also have to be willing to accept the help when it's needed and when it's given to you. Don't let your pride or don't let your anger, don't let none of that stop a blessing. But all in all, just wanted to bring that to the light tonight. Again, for those who might have just popped in, there was a story that broke out this morning that happened in what happened near White Plains in New York. 40-year-old lady had oncologist and also a head professor at one of the medical hospitals that she was working with. Um, Basically murder suicide. She killed her 5-month old and she killed herself, and is linked to postpartum depression. So again, I would say for those who definitely are going through that type of depression, you definitely want to try to seek the help. Whether you are happily married or you're single and you're just having your first kids, please make sure y'all getting help. I think that's the most heartbreaking and the most worst things to hear. And also fellas, because we seen some fellas do some stuff like that too. And it's because of toxic situations as far as relationships, you know, people playing games, not trying to let them see their kids, so on and so forth. Again, there's multiple different situations that will lead to depression and even lead to them hurting or killing their own. We got to start really getting back to that strength, that unity in numbers, and really just putting the best out. We need this. That's why I said I will continue any type of talks that's beneficial and necessary, because there are a lot of things that really don't divide us or separate us because it affects all of us. So again, let's really start getting back to that notion of having a common respect and a common ground for things. It's nothing funny or nothing provoking or even no way near a joke. Laughing at depression. Any type of depression, untreated or even just unknown, will cause severe and serious damages. It's definitely going to break a lot of hearts too. We would like to not hear too many stories like that. But we know, again, that's just not possible. It could be, but then again, I don't know. Like I said, the tribes that we had before in the community are no longer tribes. Everybody's for self. But again, I would expect some of y'all to get the help that's needed. Women, think you might be going through it, please read up on them symptoms and make sure you're getting the proper help and care. Fellas, you think you might be going through anything as far as CTE, or even if you think you're going through any type of real depression, schizophrenia, whatever, paranoia, feel it type of, go get the help that's needed for the sake of yourselves, the people around you, especially the babies. Go get you some help. I think I said what I really need to say tonight. I really can't even delve too much onto it because it just hit different again. Because I feel for that fella, man. I'm not expecting to come home and then hear this type of news or witness this type of situation happening. So yeah, I feel for him too. Prayers to anybody who might have gone through these type of situations on either angle. I'll definitely have something along the lines because again, we're gonna attack on those situations as well too, because mental health do affect, and they do kind of play a part of some of the things that's happening in society. And the more knowledgeable that we get on these things, the more we stand up and the more we can unite to get specific things back in order, we could definitely change the course of what's going on now. Start bringing a better balance. All in all, though, y'all already know I'm not going to hold y'all all night. Um, Getting the link is pinned in case everybody want to pop in. I'm going to give y'all some time. But getting due apologies for not having the morning safe, but I'm going to definitely have the morning safe in the morning with y'all. I don't know. My head is still a little right behind that situation as well, too. Um, Anybody that's going through any type of mental health on either level, please make sure you try to get the help. And for those who can help or those who feel they can intervene and possibly stop whatever, please do so. Mental health is real, and those who laugh and poke fun at it, you'll end up going through it at some point. Again, I believe that karma comes to those who play around with that. Even on here, there's no way you could tell me it's fun to poke fun at anybody's situation when they really have gone through any type of specific depression, mental health, or anything. Got to stop being so insensitive, and we definitely got to start coming to realization. This is another reason why we have so much division and chaos, because people just don't know how to respect boundaries and just respect life. Again, I feel this conversation was needed, and I'll definitely bring something in the morning, definitely. Yeah, now I can't even get my thoughts together now because I'm still thinking about that. It's how bad it was today. Because you hate hearing stuff like that on either end. Fellas, you're gonna have to start being real men and make sure you protect your seed at all costs. Ladies, the same way. And if that means going to get the help that's needed, go get it. And when people are telling you something and they're all telling you the same thing, just listen to reason. It could help. And when help is being presented to you, you have to take it. If you don't, we will keep getting stories like this. Um, I don't think I could have said anything more clearer. Definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight, though. And I appreciate you, Neff, baby. Again, topics like this do hit different, and some people might not be able to chime in on it because, again, it hit different. But I'm still all for having these talks. And hopefully somebody tonight comes across this and they definitely hear something and get something out of it. And again, these talks are needed and necessary, so I'm again proud of being a part of that. I can honestly say I still feel like this is a strong family unit right here. But we also bringing things to the forefront that are needed because again, this will be partially getting back to how we was accustomed to being tribes in the community. All the communities, all the tribes are going to have to start building back up again. Starts from within. I do believe that. Again, I feel mixed about it. That's why I kept just pausing at certain parts because again I could feel that things are different with y'all. I understand that. But from my logical sense, I just can't see you harming your own. That's on all aspects, even with the dudes. I can't see you harming or killing your own. I wouldn't care if you was depressed or you just finally snapped out of nowhere. I just can't see that. And I think that should hit different on all levels tonight. These type of topics, these type of general talks will continuously happen. Guess what? There is no stopping these talks because regardless to what, doesn't always specifically have to be me talking about these topics. But you're gonna have people who do. Not feeling that notion right there, that's another way for people to start building and coming together. And I love what's coming together right now. And for those who might even just be coming into the fold, this is what I present. Even last night's conversation was a good one. And again, shout outs to my bro Heineken, and shout outs to my bro Brian for popping in. And again, my bro Heineken will tell you this is no different. When I'm like this, that means something hit me hard because we all come from that. Again, we in a tight knit community, so we come from that. We know what it is, and until the people actually wake up and come to the realization of what's going on, these talks are going to continuously happen until we wake up the ones that are actually going to be woken up. Definitely hope that everybody that's going through anything right now on the health aspect on both ends, I do pray and hope that you are getting the help that you need. And please make sure you're properly just taking care of your mental health, definitely. Keep away all the unnecessary stress and the unnecessary negative that will plague you or that will leave a bad seed in you. You have to keep your mind strong and clear at all points. And even when you feel like you're in a corner, you're never really going to be in a corner. And if you feel you in the corner, you should remember who's really in your corner, that higher power. Because again, your decisions do have consequences and repercussions. And if you're choosing to go out the easy way, if that's what you want to call it, you're going to find out that's going to leave a hard impression on your family and the people around you. So again, I would inform y'all that's going through it to kindly go get the help you need if you feel you're going through any type of depression. Again, I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we will definitely rebuild on this conversation. Um, again, prayers going out to everybody that need it, and definitely prayers to James and Angel and everybody else right now that's going through it. Now, I haven't heard from Anita, but definitely prayers to her just in case of anything, because I know a lot of y'all going through different things. Like I said before, I don't expect everybody to be in the chats all day, every day. I don't expect everybody to do certain things. My main thing mostly is just making sure these messages get out. And you're still here regardless, even if you do catch the replay. This is what building a family type unit or just a family structure type unit is about. Again, I'm not here for no division. I'm just here for straight building and also just beneficial building for everybody. We got to get back to where we was at before. We are definitely losing this fight right now, and we shouldn't be. We got to come together definitely for the better and definitely for the future generations. If you don't believe that, I don't know what you believe I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. I'll definitely be back in the morning. I'll definitely be in a better mind state too. I definitely appreciate everybody for being a part of the eulogy family and also just rocking out with your boy. Period. Like I said, I'm always going to remain humble and I'm always going to just remain myself. I don't know who else to be. The day I feel I got to be somebody else, I just won't be it. I don't think I should have to come to that conclusion. So I'm good. Still got that balance. And I still got the strong balance in my ear anyway. So I'm good. So hopefully y'all enjoy your evenings. I'll be running around these YouTube streets. Whoever is going live later, don't worry. I'll be up in there. Just make sure y'all got a half a pork chop sandwich for me. And yeah, make sure you got the little chimichurri sauce on the side. Come on, son. I gotta help you boy out. But y'all know y'all more than blessed and definitely a part of this family structure. We're gonna continuously build no matter what. But I can't be complete without doing what I was supposed to be doing, y'all. So bear with me. Yeah, enough. See, he wasn't playing. He wanted his plate too. Nah, you already know what it is, though. I love what's being built here, and I'm gonna continuously keep this sucker strong. So, we still got more things on the way, and we still gonna keep continuously grow every day. Definitely speedy recovery to everybody who needs it, and just healing prayers again to those who might have lost family. Because again, I know it does set you off a certain way, and it should. But it also shows again that there is humanity. You are feeling, the loss of life. That can affect you in more ways than one. And it does affect everybody. So let's not act like some of these things are that far off amongst all communities. Just get back to loving ourselves and loving our peoples and just respecting our peoples, and we're good. But um, definitely love these talks. And again, hopefully somebody did get something out of this tonight. And for those who might have just been tuned in late, y'all can catch the replay. Um, we'll be back in the morning for the safe. And I'm going to try to give y'all some music tomorrow. I tried today, but yeah, it was storming off and on. And I don't play with lightness. So yeah, apologies for that. Oh, shoot. Next, y'all, appreciate you, baby. Got you, baby. Fine, I'll give you some club music. Ain't club music today. Appreciate you, Nexy, for that super sticker. Oh, wait, I can't let you go out like that, though. Come on, baby. Definitely appreciate you for that, Nexie. But again, we gonna retouch up on that. And again, when I do, the panel will be open. You know, it's good to just let the people see that we have people here that are serious about trying to bring back some sort of structure within all communities. So we'll definitely be back in the morning. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and then be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. Like I said, we'll definitely be back in the morning. I'm gonna try to give y'all some music on the backup tomorrow. And it could be an open panel discussion tomorrow night. You never know. I'm definitely going to try to see what else has transpired. Not just that story, but it was something else I was trying to look up. But apparently, I got to open up that whole file to look at it. So, yeah. Again, talks will always be here, because we see these things happening every day. And the more you try to run away from it, the more you're going to run right back into it. So, y'all definitely stay safe. Keep that third eye open. I'll see y'all running around these streets somewhere. Y'all definitely just enjoy your evenings. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.